Have you ever promised yourself, "This time I'll really change," only to return to your old habits a few days later? You buy a new notebook, start exercising, wake up earlier, or decide to stop wasting time on your phone. At first, it feels exciting. Then your motivation fades, the new habit feels uncomfortable, and the old behavior quietly returns. What if the problem is not that you are weak or lazy? What if your brain is simply doing what it was designed to do? The encouraging news is that resistance to change is normal, not a personal failure. When you understand why the brain prefers familiar routines, you can stop blaming yourself and start building habits that work with your brain instead of against it. Today we'll look at why the brain naturally resists change, what happens inside your mind when you try to build a new habit, and how to make change feel less like a battle. Insight 1: The brain prefers predictability. One of the brain's most important jobs is keeping you safe. To do that, it constantly tries to predict what will happen next. When your daily routine is familiar, your brain can run much of it automatically. Waking up, making tea or coffee, checking your phone, driving or walking the same route, working in familiar ways. These repeated behaviors require less mental energy. Researchers studying the brain's basal ganglia, including work at institutions such as MIT, have shown that habits allow the brain to automate repeated actions. This is efficient because it frees up attention for other tasks. Change interrupts that efficiency. A new habit creates uncertainty. What should I do now? Will this work? Is this worth the effort? Because uncertainty requires more attention and energy, the brain often treats change as a cost, even when the change is good for you. That is why starting a healthy habit can feel surprisingly uncomfortable. Insight 2: Comfort feels safer than improvement. Imagine two choices. Stay with a familiar routine that is not ideal. Try a new routine that might improve your life but feels uncertain. Many people choose the familiar option. Psychologists call this status quo bias, our tendency to prefer the current situation simply because it is already known. For example, someone may know that regular exercise would improve their health, mood, and energy. Yet after work, sitting on the sofa feels easier than going for a walk. This does not mean they do not want better health. It means the immediate comfort of the familiar behavior is stronger than the future reward of the new behavior. The brain gives extra weight to what feels good right now. This is one reason habits are difficult to change. The benefits of change are often delayed, while the discomfort is immediate. Insight 3: Change creates cognitive friction. Think about learning to drive a car. At first, every action requires conscious effort. Mirrors, pedals, steering, traffic signs, speed control. After enough practice, many of these actions become automatic. Habits work the same way. When you try to create a new behavior, your brain must build new neural pathways through repetition. Neuroscientists often summarize this idea with the phrase, "neurons that fire together wire together," associated with psychologist Donald Hebb's work on learning. The important point is this. New habits feel difficult not because they are impossible, but because they are not yet efficient. Many people quit during this stage because they expect the new behavior to feel natural immediately. But awkwardness is often a sign that learning is happening. The first week of waking up early, studying daily, or exercising regularly is usually the hardest because the brain has not yet reduced the mental effort required. Insight 4. Stress pulls you back to old habits. Have you noticed that when you are tired, stressed, or emotionally overwhelmed, you often return to old behaviors? That is not an accident. Under stress, the brain tends to rely more on well-practiced habits because they require less conscious control. Imagine someone trying to eat healthier. When they are calm and rested, they may choose a healthy meal. But after a stressful day, they may automatically reach for familiar comfort food. This is why willpower alone is often unreliable. Behavioral scientists have found that environment and routine usually matter more than momentary motivation. If your old habit is easy, visible, and immediately rewarding, stress will often pull you back toward it. Insight 5. Make change small enough for the brain to accept. So how do we work with the brain instead of fighting it? One of the most effective strategies is making the change smaller. Research on habit formation, including work by B.J. Fogg at Stanford University and James Clear's popular synthesis of habit research, suggests that small actions are easier to repeat consistently. Instead of exercise for 1 hour every day, start with put on your walking shoes and walk for 5 minutes. Instead of read 30 pages, start with read 1 page after breakfast. Small habits reduce cognitive friction. They feel less threatening, require less energy, and are easier to repeat. Consistency is more important than intensity. A tiny habit repeated for 30 days usually changes the brain more than a huge effort repeated for 3 days. 3 science-backed action steps. 1. Make the first step tiny. Ask, what is the smallest version of this habit I can do today? If it feels almost too easy, that is often a good sign. 2. Attach the habit to an existing routine. For example, after I make tea, I will read 1 page. After I brush my teeth, I will stretch for 2 minutes. This uses the brain's love of predictable patterns. 3. Expect resistance. Do not interpret discomfort as failure. When your brain says, "This feels strange," remind yourself, strange is often the beginning of change.